giver, we're going to have to swing on by and start talking about Miss Nikki and Mr. Shawn, Dr. Shawn. Miss Nikki and Dr. Shawn, these two are twins. Twins, twins, twins. I'm going to give you what you need and not what you want. They're both pretentious and they're both superficial, both of them. And both of them need to be told about themselves. That's right. I'm going to say it. Because Nikki is very superficial and she's done a lot of work, like she said, on her profession and on her outer beauty. She looks good. Just like Dr. Shawn said, what's going on with all this hottie body, how do you do it? She says she does hot yoga, Pilates, she lift weights. Girl, chef's kiss. You looking good. You're looking at that skin I said last week is flawless. But what Dr. Shawn did was he quickly honed in on, well, what about your insides? Now, I'm not going to say Shawn's methods were the best because they weren't. But what Shawn in the back of his head was saying is, why is this woman single? I know what he was saying. He was saying this woman's got it going on the outside. She's beautiful. She's a professional. She's a boss chick. Why at this age is she still single and why hasn't any man scooped her up? Now, I know a lot of people hate that question. A lot of women hate the question, but it's a valid question. And what he was trying to get to is, it's got to be something on the inside. It's got to be something on the inside where this woman is still single. And so he went right to it. Where's your growth? I want to know what your red flags are because on the outside, you don't have no red flags. They are all green flags, Miss Nikki. Your body's a green flag. Your face is a green flag. Your smile is a green flag. Your complexion and skin tone and everything is a green flag, right? In Shawn's world, you are a green flag. So what I want to know, your pocketbook's a green flag, your class is a green flag, your social status is a green flag. Where are your red flags? So I want to go right to the inner you. And the minute he started trying to dig on the inside, that's when Nikki said, hold up, wait a minute. Don't be trying to go deep on me and go on my insides, right? You don't need to be asking me no questions about my inside. Stick to my outsides. Keep telling me how my body looks good. Keep telling me I'm beautiful. Keep bringing me coffee because that's where I did all my work, right? Because let me tell you, in a lot of ways, Nikki gaslit Shawn. I'm going to say she did. Because what she was able to do was because she didn't like the way that Shawn asked about her insides, she used that as her excuse not to talk about her insides. Hear me one more time. He wanted to go to her insides. What have you learned from? Tell me where has been your growth? And his approach wasn't the best. Nikki was absolutely 100% correct in that his approach was wrong, right? That it felt like an interview. It felt like an inquisition. Everything Nikki said was correct. But what she was able to do, which was really, really crafty, Nikki, I saw it. You were able to use his tone and his approach as your excuse not to answer the question. You sure did. That's what you did. Because I don't like the way you asked me the question, because I don't like the way you approach me, I'm not going to even answer your question. But the questions are important, just like Shawn said. So you're going to tell me that what I said is not important? Because Nikki told him this is not important. No, it is important, Nikki. See, you want me to stay focused on your outsides, your beauty, your body, your accomplishments, your degrees, your social status, your title at your job. That's what you want me to stay focused on. But when I want to go deep, because I'm already wondering what are the red flags, I need to know because you're not being transparent like Felipe is, and he goes straight to the heart of things. Now all of a sudden you don't want to talk about it because you don't like my tone and my approach. Girl, no. She's crafty. She's crafty, you're right. Because let me tell you something about Shawn is the same way. Nikki told him about himself and she was absolutely correct, right? Same thing. These two are both used to being in relationships where they call all the shots. Nikki's real good at telling Shawn what she wants and how I want you to treat me and what you want. Girl, that's good that you know how you want to be treated, but what about what other people want? They both are self-centered. They're both are pretentious, and all they care is about what they want. The way that Shawn poked at Nikki and was going deep inside of her, digging into her, it was because he wanted what he wanted, which is he wanted the answers to his question, what is burning in his head, which is, why are you still single? What are your red flags? But instead of doing it in a caring way, in which Nikki's right, where he had care and consideration for her, he disregarded her feelings. And what he did was he just went for what he wanted to get the answers he wanted. He didn't do it like she said was, it's like you're a lawyer. It's like there's no personal relationship. The way you're coming at me is all wrong. And that turned her off, which is rightfully so. But the essence of what he was doing was really what needs to be done, Nikki. And Nikki, I tend to believe that even if he had approached her in a more soft or kind of way, Nikki, I don't even know if you would have given the answer then. I think you're able to hide behind the fact that Shawn is such a turnoff. Shawn is now everyone's walking around and saying that Shawn is zesty, that Shawn is batting for the same team, right? And that, anyone can look at him and tell that he's not a heterosexual male. I don't necessarily believe that. I still don't believe it. I don't know. I'm not going to just say that. But I'm going to say this. I think that's going to be a convenient excuse this season for Nikki not to do her interior work. And it's really, really sad because these two actually, like I said, did you get what you want or did you get what you need? Nikki, a high-powered man who is a strong, like alpha male, who's all these things that you want, he's not going to want to deal with you. He's not. That's the sad part about it. Like everything she's describing she wants, a lot of that guy is not going to want Nikki, right? Nikki's going to have to figure out what she can compromise on, right? She doesn't have to compromise on Shawn and maybe his height or his looks. She's going to have to compromise on something because unless she changes that part of her where she does not even want to look at her insides, right? And she doesn't want to back down from who she is. She said something really, really insightful to Shawn. Like Nikki dropped a lot of gems this episode. She said, what did she say? She said something about we were vibing. Well, she did say we were vibing very naturally. And now it's starting to feel unnatural because Shawn went into his, like she says, it feels academic. It's not a personal connection. Everything she said was so great. And then she said, when he even said the part about waiting 5 months or 5 weeks, how they had this conversation about waiting for sex, he was right, y'all. He was right that the original question was, she said what she wanted. She wanted to wait 5 weeks. And he said behind the camera, she was having a lot of, it's my body, it's my choice. And what he's saying is he agreed with all of that in theory. It is your body and it is your choice. But when you're about to now announce it to the world, why wouldn't we announce it in a way that validates both of us? Why wouldn't we able to announce it in a way in which your voice and my voice also could be heard? And what Shawn was saying is, why are you trying to lead me? Why are you leading the conversation, right? Because it's your body? No, it is your body, but it doesn't mean that I also can't be in agreement with it, which meant we could have made this like a joint announcement and we could have phrased it in a way in which it was a joint decision. But in a lot of ways, Nikki, you kind of took over. You did. So that's what I'm saying, Nikki. You got a takeover spirit. And if you have a takeover spirit, the guy you're describing won't want to be with you. He won't want to be with you. So you either are going to have to settle for a different type of guy who wants to allow you to lead like that, or you're going to have to calm that takeover spirit. It's your choice. It's your choice. And so what Shawn was saying is when you take over and you lead, in a lot of ways, what you're doing is you're trying to invalidate my part in this decision. I still have a part. It is your body. It is your choice in the end. but I could still have an opinion. You still need to validate those parts of me. And what she was saying is, can I speak? Okay, you can speak, but also can you listen? Right? They both don't listen. They both like to speak. They both like to be in charge. They both like to get what they want. You know what I mean? And they are two peas in a pod. Like she said, it's like he's on stage and you're debating and you're talking as opponent versus your wife. Nikki, you sounded the same way. You sounded the same way. The decisions that you were making, it sounded like you were at work at HR and you were making decisions for the corporation, but you actually weren't even talking to the employee. You were making decisions. That's what HR is about. HR is about protecting the corporation, and they make you think that they're there to make decisions about you, the employee, but they're there protecting the corporation. Nikki was there protecting herself. She was not protecting her employee, which is Shawn. She didn't even get Shawn too much of a say so. She was HR. This is why she's so good when she said, here's the line, here I got it. You don't create enough space for the other person to be heard and understood. That was such a HR response. It was dead on, Nikki. The problem is, Nikki, you don't do it either. And you're not willing to do that deep introspection to know you don't do it. And this is probably a result of her being so high up in corporate, right? When you're a high executive in corporate, there's very few people who are telling you what to do. For the most part, you're telling other people what to do, right? You're at work, you're a VP, you're a senior VP. Most people are under you. You're a superior. You come in a relationship with a guy who's also a superior, and all of a sudden you guys got to figure out, well, who's going to be the inferior one to my superiority here? And everybody always wants to be the superior one. That's these two. Nikki's so right when she says it's no heart and no spirit in the way you're talking to me, Shawn. It was rough. I can't fault Nikki for anything that she said. She was dead on. She was spot on. The problem is they're twins. They're twins. So who's going to be the person that is going to also help tame Nikki, right? So when I say the person you need versus the person you want, Nikki needs a person who's going to challenge her. She doesn't need just a rollover guy. Shawn may be short in stature, and I'm not even saying Shawn is her match, but she absolutely needs a guy that's going to challenge her. The problem is she believes that guy comes in a guy who's as strong as her, and the answer to that's going to be no, because he's not going to want to deal with her. He's going to say, why do I need to spend time taming you when I can just go find a woman who's already tamed? That's the problem, Nikki, you have. So if you really want that guy you say you want, you're going to have to do the changing. I don't know what to tell you. You're going to have to be the one that's changing. So once again, the experts are exposing to these people what you want versus what you need. I'm going to say it. What you want versus what you need.